Hey guys, it's been a little while since we've had a Hopper Hot Take. So let's talk tonight because it's been quite the 2 weeks, right? Many of you probably know by now or have seen Damar Hamlin collapsing on the football field, Monday Night Football. You see it right here in that screen right there. Lots of stories about that lately. Great news is Damar got released from a Buffalo hospital today. He got transferred from Cincinnati to Buffalo Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Got released today to go home and recover from home. Really good news coming out of there. But in the background here, you see this is a story that was done at ESPN talking about emergency action plans and how they work in the National Football League, and some of the again cardiac arrest and statistics of how few really survive, and how fortunate Damar was to have his incident occur where it did, and it's really shined the light on athletic training, and it's shined the light on emergency action plans because it occurred on Monday Night Football in front of 20 million people. Okay. In this other screen here, see if I can figure out my pointing on my phone. Right here, this is an interview done on ESPN with Rachel Leahy, who is an athletic trainer at Army West Point. Last Thursday night, Army was playing at Sacred Heart when one of their players took a skate blade to the neck. From what I've read, fortunately, the skate apparently hit his jaw, which probably saved his life. Okay. But as Rachel is explaining in this interview here, she quickly saw blood. She jumped on the ice. She started applying pressure, and she got him to the help that he needed. Probably, potentially saved his life. He had surgery that night and returned to West Point the next day. Again, athletic trainers in the spotlight, running through an emergency action plan, executing an emergency action plan. So, okay, another sport. National Hockey League has an emergency action plan, and they have a very detailed emergency action plan that specifies what equipment they have. They specify the ambulance, they specify what physicians are there, and all this stuff. Again, providing a high level of care for the hockey players. Okay. Article on social media today, Will Carroll, who is known on Twitter as the injury expert, wrote a blog post on his blog, Under the Knife, that he talked with a longtime athletic trainer from the Milwaukee Brewers organization about the emergency action plans and medical services that are in place in Major League Baseball. Now, we've talked about a lot of things, and we've talked about a lot of resources. Recent numbers say that there's approximately 45 million school-age children who participate in some form of athletics every year. I think that number was 8 million high school kids, something like that. I can't remember from my PowerPoint off the top of my head now. But it's something like 8 million high school players. What kind of care are they getting? What do the emergency action plans look like for them? And as Will said, we've got to start somewhere at the high school level. And as Will said, and you've heard me say it over and over and over again, it starts with AT for all. It starts with getting athletic trainers into our schools, because the athletic trainers can then develop emergency action plans. Now, again, we come back to Damar's case, and it's so critical that we have an AED, or an automatic external defibrillator. It's so critical we have one close by and ready to use. They are easy to use. So parents, I really encourage you, ask at your schools, ask at your youth leagues where the AED is. Is it accessible? Because if it's in a locked cabinet, it does no good. If it has a dead battery, it does no good. Okay? But not just the AED, because we're not just talking about sudden cardiac arrest. Again, In Rachel's case here in hockey, we're talking about bleeding. We're talking about traumatic bleeding and the potential for bleeding out. Okay. Now, obviously, in her case, we wouldn't be using a tourniquet on a player's neck, right? But having stop the bleed training is also an important thing. So again, parents, I encourage you to stop the bleed trainings online. It's available online. And it's not just for gunshot wounds like people think it is. Okay? I would also encourage you, get CPR trained as a parent, as a youth coach. Get CPR trained. It's not hard. CPR is not a hard skill to learn. And that's evidenced if you go online and you can find videos of toddlers performing CPR. Now, they're not effective. CPR is not a hard skill to learn, but it is a hard skill to execute. But you never know when it might be your child. You never know when it might be your parent, right? Sometime you might be put in a position to save the life of somebody close to you. Learn CPR, okay? Ask your schools, ask your leagues, what's your emergency action plan look like? Where does the ambulance come in and out? Who has keys to gates? Where's the AED? Where is the splint bag? Where's the stop the bleed supplies? Another thing we have to start worrying about, where's Narcan? An EpiPen? Okay, where is the emergency equipment and who knows how to use it? And who's responsible for maintaining it? And who's responsible for activating the emergency action plan? These are questions that I think you as a parent, you as a high school or a youth sports coach, you need to start asking these questions. These are hard questions that administrators need to start answering. Because guys, look, life saved. Life saved. Unfortunately, since Damar's case, there have been 3 high school kids who have died of sudden cardiac arrest in the last 10 days. There's a lot of information come out of those still. Okay? A lot of answers we have to get. But what we know is that they didn't have those types of resources. Many efforts were made. Okay? But remember that outside of a hospital, the survival rate of sudden cardiac arrest is only about 10% normally. Okay? So sometimes you can do everything you can and there's nothing else to do. But our job as athletic trainers and our jobs as school administrators, as athletic administrators, league officials, coaches, our job should be to provide a fighting chance for that kid. So that if a kid goes down like this, or a kid gets hit like this, okay, that they're given a fighting chance to survive. And they don't die on the field or on the court. Okay, that's tonight's Topper Hot Take, guys. I will post links to both of these videos in the description below. So if you want to check those out, you can. But otherwise, late night tonight. But I just want to put this out. Emergency action plans are so important. So important. I really have a big passion for this. And, we want to drill this home as much as we can. And let's use these as examples, please. Let's use these as examples so we don't have more deaths on the athletic fields. So, again, that's tonight's Hopper Hot Take. You guys have a great night, and we'll see you soon.